and welcome back. This is Simone from Biim.Games, and today we are going to talk about one kind of game that you should never develop, and also you should never work for companies that develop this kind of games. Now, usually I don't take much aside you during the topic. Yes, I'll leave a little bit of choice between which one would you prefer to do as a way, but in this case I really have to take a side, and I hope that you take my same side as well, because this is really important not only for us but for everyone that is involved about this topic. So before starting with the usual topic and then the normal summary about what I did the last week, I want to say again thank you to every one of you that support me on Patreon. Thank you for your help. I can get a little bit of more income that can cover the cost of the creation of all the videos I do on my channel. So thank you again for your support, and I really appreciate it. Let's go now with talking about the topic of this week. But before this, let's see what I did last week. Do you remember what I talked about last week about having a break? Yeah, I haven't taken a break. So I actually did the opposite. I worked very hard, and because the reason is that because the freelance job I was doing, we're supposed to deliver on Tuesday. Actually, we did, but the problem is that we have a last minute changing. So in just Monday and Tuesday, we had to change many things on the fly. We had to make sure there was everything was working, fix the bugs, and do it to this little last minute changing. So it was a very intense week, and Monday, Tuesday was really very hard, and also from Wednesday to Friday after the game was published, we still work on try to catch up on little bugs that came out after this conversion. So it was a little bit tough as a week, but beside that I was able to do the usual construct tutorials. I did very two small tutorials, both in one in English and one in Italian, so a little bit advanced for cover for this week. And about the Black Friday, I just did a very quick promotion on itch.io. Thanks to that one, I just been published on like 3 or 4 places, not much. It was not really time to do any precise and very good promotion, so I just did something quickly, and that doesn't really matter for me. And my income with the freelance job, so whatever it could be, say for Black Friday, could probably never been even so close to my income I got as a freelancer. So doesn't really matter for me at this point. So that was about last week, and now let's go to talk about the topic of today. Lately I've been contacted more and more time as for jobs as a game designer. It's quite unusual because usually I've been contacted for develop games or do some like user interface, these kind of things, but purely just as a game designer, it's a very rare that I've been contacted only for that. And then and the last weeks the number of contact increased a lot, sometimes even 3 or 4 times during the week. It's very unusual, and now you see why. And you see because the problem is that this game design job are related to gambling. So really, just to say my side straight away, I really hate this kind of jobs, this kind of games. Is against my morality because for a series of reasons that we're going to see in a few minutes. So I always decline this kind of jobs. But on one hand, I'm very happy that I get more and more requests for this job. Usually it's not the company itself that contact me, but agency in between that try to get the job as good for the company. So for me, it's on one side it's suffering because I see there is still a lot of demand for these jobs. But on the other side, I'm very happy because if I'm being contacted many times, it means that there is a lack of so there are not many game designers that accept to work for these companies, and therefore I can be more happy than this, because it means that most of you decline as well to work for these companies. Usually it's easy to find this kind of advertisement, to recognize them. Sometimes they don't write straight away there's about gambling, but you can read between the lines. They always have like a game designer and a very good in mathematician. And so you can really understand if you read well the advertising, that it's not really what they want, the game designer. It's someone they want to steal money to people. And therefore, if you read usually the advertising, when they give you a proposal, you can really understand that it's not the normal requirement that are requests for other kind of game development, and you can identify straight away. But when I got in doubt, the first thing I ask about this job is really is this about gambling? And sometimes people say no, it's not really gambling, it's something similar, but you understand that the end is always that one. So let's see. First of all, my definition is not there's not really precise definition about what is game and what's gambling. I just need a quick definition. I didn't make a very big research on that, but just to give you an idea so you can understand why we want to create games and why you shouldn't create gambling games. There is a big difference between these two. So what's a game? Game is an activity that we do for entertainment or for fun. It has a defined set of rules, goals, and there is a defined way how to interact between the player, if you have more than one player, or if the system, if it is a game or whatever. And then in this game, the player has meaningful choices. So the player is in control to what to try to do to reach the goal. So it's not passive. It's not like watching a movie where you just are passive, you can't decide anything, you can't change the outcome of the movie. But here, when you play any game you normally play, you always have the option to do one thing or another, or at least try, and to see if you can get a different result. Now, what's gambling? When you do gambling, usually play to get a monetary reward or something similar, but usually monetary. And the player bet real money on the game. Is not sometimes there's also virtual currency, but to get this virtual currency you need anyway to spend the money to get these coins. So like a casino, you give it tokens or whatever. And there is a very high risk to lose the investment. I would say nearly 100%, but it's not 100%. But anyway, this is not the topic about today, but it's very complicated. Anyway, let's say very high risk to lose the investment. There is an uncertain result. You never know what to get. Doesn't matter what you're doing, and the player can't influence the outcome in any way. So whatever you're trying to do, is still you have no control on the result, because there is no way for the player to control the result. Otherwise, everyone will win in the end, and that's not the purpose of these companies. So what's the purpose of this company? First of all, I want to say another thing that is important, is that there is a difference between a game that is engaging and the game that is addicting. Because engaging is something you enjoy to do because for the sake of doing it. Addiction is even if you want to stop to do it, you can't stop to do it. There's a very big difference here. So also, you shouldn't define your game as sometimes you can see, oh, this is most addicting game. So forget about the word addicting. It's a bad word, it's a negative word. Don't use it when you define your game. So let's talk about the consequence of gambling, because we have to think why I'm really against about this, because it's not because I'm against this company for no reason. There is a reason why you shouldn't develop this kind of games. First of all, the most obvious here is the loss of money. Gambling games aren't made for make you rich, but for make the company rich. So this is quite obvious, and then everyone know about this. But what's the other consequences it can have, the people that play this kind of, let's say, games, they are not games, but let's call it games, people are stressed. So if they normally drink, they drink more when they play these games. If they normally smoke, they smoke more when they play this game. So these are really one bad thing. Also, when they take away time from family and friends to spend time in playing with poker machine or whatever, so casinos or video games, so always these kind of things that they, whatever they are, they take away from their family and friends because they are too much addicted. They have to go there to play 1 time per week, 2 times per week, every day. The more you're addicted, the more you want to play. And also they get irritated very easily with other people. They can't concentrate at work. They have this feeling, the bad feeling, they feel guilty but cannot stop to play. They can't sleep, they can relax. They miss other important things of life because the need of gamble is taking over. So they cut really a lot of time away from other important things of their life. They're gonna to lose and don't get enjoy anymore because they have to gamble all the time. And even in some cases, some people start to steal in order to get the money to gamble because they finish all the money. So let's see the consequences about this. Just to summarize the main points, people lose all their belongings, maybe a car, maybe the house, whatever, anything that are valuable is lost. People also lose their family and friends because they get upset with them and there are a lot of issues. They don't want to relate anymore to this family and friends, and therefore they get detached, they become lonely. In the worst case, even when people realize about all the things they lost, the addiction they cannot get out, if they are not helped, some people even suicide. So this is what we're talking about. Are we creating games or are we creating a system to put in danger people and therefore even to kill them? So seeing this, we know that working on a gambling game is ruining many people's life and not only the players one. In some case, your game is actively contributing to kill your players. Think about it. Is that money worth the life of many deaths? Now, change a little bit topic, but this just was the main idea. I hope you think about this. There are also other games and companies that I don't feel like to work on. Maybe it's not less tragic like this case, but still there are many other companies I wouldn't work. I'll leave this topic for other videos. By the way, if you can tell me what you think about this in the comments, and if you have also a list of games or companies that you don't want to work for moral reasons. So let me know and we can talk about the games again in the future. I hope that you join me in this idea about standing against this kind of game, and hopefully all together we can contribute in closing this kind of activity and going back maybe to the old arcade games that, yes, they were meant to take coins from the player because they was made very difficult to finish a level, but the player could stop anytime to play the game. It was not creating addiction. Yeah, you could be passionate about one game, but you were not addicted. You wouldn't take time from your family or your friends. You wouldn't say no to have a dinner with your family just because, or your friends just because you want to play Super Mario. So that was not the case. So think about it. Are we creating game for fun, or are we creating game for create and endanger people? So just pick the side, and I hope you pick the fun side. Okay, let's see now what I'm going to do in the next week. And the next week I'm going to basically still keep working this freelance job. This is because until now the game is supposed to be, it was actually be the development was creating the core mechanics, all the rest, and create up to 18 levels. Now we need to have up to 32 levels. So they asked me if I can help with the rest of the levels. Of course, I'm very happy to contribute, because in the end, when I can see the finished game, I can be very proud to say, okay, I work on most of the game here. So this is like a feeling my creation. Even if it's a freelance job, I will feel still like my creation, because I really put a big contribute on it. And aside for that, we start on Monday until Friday. Today is from Tuesday to Friday. Today is already Monday, so I will not have much free time. Maybe I can do another tutorial in Italian from Constructor. I don't think I have much chance to put my hands on Creepy Mahjong. That I will postpone again on another week. Hopefully I can do something by the end of the year, but I'm not sure yet. Anyway, at this stage I still, as I said before in the first videos, I try to do most of these freelance jobs, because this give me a good start, a good income to survive, and then if I don't have this job, I can develop my games, asset, template, or whatever I want to create, and therefore I have a little bit of income to go on until I start to be basically autonomous in selling all these assets and games and be able to survive with that. So for now, it's good for me in this way, and let's see how it's going in the future. Okay, thank you again for everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you want to join me on Patreon, I'm going to add new content there soon. And if you ask, by the way, some suggestion, if you want to know about more content that I can publish only for patrons, just let me know. I'm happy to have a look how to help each other in that way. Okay, see you next week, and good development. Bye.